Welcome back to another episode of Success Stories for IELTS. So this time, i-congratulate naman natin or interview naman natin si Normita from Singapore. Okay, so Normita, hello, congratulations. Yep.
Hello po.
Yeah,
Thank you po.
good
Thank
evening.
you so much.
Okay, what time now in Singapore? Hello, Normita.
Same time po sa Pinas, 11. Hello po.
Okay, sige, go. So, Normita, please introduce yourself. And tell
Same
us,
time po sa Singapore.
same sa Philippines. Okay, let's start, Normita. Tell us about yourself first.
Okay po. Ako po. Sa Pinas po, I'm from Ilocos po, Bantay, Ilocos Sur. Yan. I just started working here January 6 po this year.
In
Here in
Singapore.
Singapore. So, mga mag-7 months.
Wow.
Ganun pa lang po dito.
Okay. And where did you took your IELTS? Is it computer-based, paper-based, IDP, which is cancel?
I took the IELTS exam here in Singapore at IDP Cathay po. It's a computer-based po.
Wow. Okay. So, tell us about your preparation.
Okay, ako po kasi self-review lang po. Pwedeng Tagalog or
Yeah,
English.
sure, no
straight.
problem. We want to
Kahit
speak
ano lang.
Tagalog. Yeah. Go.
Hello?
Yes, go.
Ako po kasi self-review lang po. Last year pa may plan na ako mag-take, kaya lang parang naiiba yung focus ko kasi I'm applying here in Singapore also. Tapos last July, I PM Miss Charlie para makausapin ko po para sa speaking. Parang mas consistent na po yung pagre-review ko, ganyan. So, nag-focus po ako sa speaking, then listening and reading. Last ko na po na ginawa yung writing, although practice po ako noon, pero hindi ko na, less priority ko po yun. Talagang speaking at saka yung dalawang subtest na listening and reading.
Are you enrolled in a review center online course?
No po. Actually, it was my first time.
Wow.
Wala po akong inenrollan kahit anong review.
Wow, ang galing.
Purely self-review tsaka yung mga kausap ko po sa Zoom, ganun.
Okay, perfect. Yes. How about your resources? Ano mga gamit mong pang-review that time?
Yes. My resources, Cambridge 13, 14, 15. So use the Makar King book. The latest one, the 2020 speaking questions. Sa writing po, 9.com. Because po ako nag-focus, I only read the Band 9 essay. I took notes with regards to the structures, how it was like introduction, the body one, the conclusion. So yung intro po doon, makikita po kasi kung paano nila ilagay yung, paano na gawin yung introduction nila. So hindi na po ako masyadong nag-focus. Few days before my note-taking ako, minemorize ko some of the words. At saka nagamit ko naman po yun during my exam. Sa listening reading po, yung IELTS online test, tsaka yung Cambridge po, ginamit ko po yun.
So, okay naman sila gamitin. How do you find IELTS online or Cambridge? Mahirap ba to compare to actual exam?
I think sa listening, sa online po, sa hirap po sa yung online sa website. Para sa akin po. Saka sa listening po, almost the same yung thought kapag magre-review ka. Kahit sa YouTube po kasi ako din nag-listening. Kasi wala akong gamit na. Sinusulat ko lang. So YouTube tsaka yung online test. Parang na-encounter ko rin po kasi sa YouTube yung mga online tests na nakikita ko dun sa website.
Okay. So,
Parang ganun din.
okay. So now, Normita, if you don't mind, could you please share your scores?
Ano po?
Yung score nyo po, pwede bang i-share?
Yung score po.
Excited yung mga speculator. Speculators.
Pero eto po, sir, hindi pa po yung official
Okay.
yung sa...
Walang problema
Kaya po
yun.
ako
Is it text
sa online
message?
ko lang po, tinignan
Online. No,
kanina lang.
it's the same.
No, there's a search button po, yung provision. Parang ganun po.
Pero I think same lang naman yung result nun. Hindi naman mababago. Okay.
I think
What's your listening?
reading 8, writing 6.5, tapos speaking po 7.
Wow. Hindi ko narinig yung listening.
Overall ko po 7.
Okay. Wow. Hindi ko narinig yung listening. Ilan yung listening mo?
Listening po 8.5
wow, ang taas. Oh my God. So, yes. So now, let's move on your actual exam. So, tell us about your listening, actual exam, reading. Kamusta sila? Kamusta siya?
Okay. Okay po. Yung sa actual examination po, para super convenient po para sa akin. Although hindi ko pa po iba kasi first time ko nga po. Yung pagdating pa lang doon, parang convenient yung place. Tapos, hindi kami marami, less than ata kami nag-take that day or 10 mga. Tapos, my headphone, computer, mouse, yung tapos pwede mong i-adjust yung
Font style?
my sound test before that. So, pwede mo i-adjust kung yung volume ng headphone mo. So, yun, ganun. Tapos, yung sabi ko lang po sa listening, sa yung hirap niya, yung 1 to 10, the end, mas mahirap, tsaka mas mabilis na yung kaya mas dapat pakinggan ng mabuti sa last part. Kasi medyo dun ako, may mga doubt ako sa mga answer ko. Last part po.
Nag-doubt ka pero 8.5 ka sa listening. Yeah.
Opo.
Okay, how about your reading?
Sa reading exam po, ginamit ko po yung tips na nababasa ko sa articles sa mga nag-exam tsaka yung yung gumagawa ng mga din related sa IELTS. So, nag-highlight ako. I use the right-click highlight. So, while I was, at first, I read the instructions and quick skim of the questions, and I read the whole passage. So, from that po, I highlighted the important events as well as yung mga probable answers related sa
okay. So, yung writing mo naman, what was your task 1 question and task 2 topics?
Okay, yung task 1 po, age percentage of visitors that a certain museum by age groups. 4 po silang age groups. I think 14 and above, and 18 and above, 30s, and then 50s and above, like that po. So, line graph po siya, yung part 1 ko.
And part 2?
And then part 2 po yung question related sa transportation and about traffic, as well as imposing some punishment with regards, like paying taxes, something like that po. Hindi ko memorize na yung
Okay.
exact na topic.
Okay. Sa writing mo, gumamit ka ba ng maraming...
So I take the
Yes.
Sa writing po kasi inuna ko yung part 2. So last ko yung ginawa yung part 1. So sa writing, hindi naman po ganun ka ano, yung ginawa ko po kasi sa introduction, yung general, it's not opinion, general overview of the topic. For instance po yung transportation. So there are the transport or surging in the metropolis area, something like that. One sentence po, and then next po, pinaraphrase ko po yung mismong question sa topic. And from that, yung opinion ko. Pero yung sinabi ko po doon, ano na yun, parang yung I will elaborate and discuss on the following paragraphs, parang ganun yung sinabi ko. Hindi ko sinabi yung iba kasing structure po, nilalagay na nila yung reasons nila. And from that, magbabranching sila. Yung sinabi ko na i-elaborate, i-discuss ko, and then I will give a specific example. Yung last ko sa intro. So sa body po, doon ako nag-start another one sentence na parang related doon sa ko, yung main reason ko na naman. So, yan, expand and then example. Ganun na po. Tapos same sa body. Sa conclusion po, yung ginawa ko, I think 2 sentence lang po yung ginawa ko or 3. Maliit lang po. Parang overall lang na conclusion.
Sa writing mo, gumamit ka ba ng mga mga connectors and as well as big words?
Yes. Absolutely. I use connectors like first, use the first, second, and then thus this means that I always this means that to expand my answer po. Yun yung minemorize ko. This means that from body 1 po. And body 2, yung ginamit ko na thus or over like that.
Okay.
And I just, for instance, to example, and also illustrate to illustrate like that po.
Okay.
Parang ganun na po.
Yes. So now let's move on to your listening, the most important. So, sino yung examiner mo? Anong nationality?
Hello, I don't know
Chinese?
the name,
Ano,
but in
white
nationality,
guy?
I think she is a British woman. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
She's
Because
nice ba?
yes,
Intimidating?
actually, she's friendly po. Not really. She's friendly. Definitely friendly one. And then she asked me to sit the first time, and then at part 1 po, it feels like examination room because I feel like I'm to a friendly stranger. So it didn't sink in yet until I went in 2, and then she suddenly gave up paper pen. So okay, let's go back first to part 1 po. She asked me about 3 questions only.
Okay.
Asked me, of course, my name, and then about where am I from, and then my accommodation, and lastly, it's about cake, and if I love sweets, something like that.
That's a very common
Yes.
question. So I think
That's
you've done
common,
that in
so
your
I think I got
practice.
it.
Yeah.
I gave quite long answers. That's why maybe I only had 3 questions.
Okay. So
So
now,
in part
yep. Go, part 2.
in part 2 po, dun ako nag-sink in na oh my God, I'm in the room, something like that. Because doon parati ako na medyo during our practice po, doon po parati ako medyo na. So, yun na paper, pencil, yung, ano na yun, cue card. So, binigay na sa akin doon na konti. So, medyo kinakabahan talaga ako kasi I'm under time pressured po. So, nung nagsasalita ako, medyo okay pa naman. Ginamit ko yung technique nyo, yung mga fellow speaking po sa Zoom, yung magbibigay ka ng overview about the topic. So, ginamit ko talaga yon. And then, introduction, yun, overview. I also incorporated that. And description, kasi yung question po, describe a person who taught you something, parang ganun po. Who, tapos why, yun, nag-elaborate. Describe ko muna, tapos medyo in-elaborate. Then, medyo nag-pause po ako, I think, more than 5 seconds. And medyo nag-stutter ako kasi wala na ako masabi. And then, suddenly, I look again on the cue card. I saw, so from that, I thought of an experience. Actually, I talk about my mother po. That's why. Hello?
Sorry, naka-mute pala ako. I'm sorry, naka-mute. So like what I said, if you're running out of time of part 2, you can talk about past tense or future, and as well
Yes.
as everything that you're
Experience,
doing.
personal experience.
Yes. So
Yes. And
wow,
also
nice.
lessons. I think I ended with lessons and then
Mm.
the time stopped. And then she asked me one follow-up question. I cannot remember, but it's related to
Yes.
that topic.
Okay. So your part
Opo.
3 questions.
Maybe she's not really satisfied because of my pauses and I quite
Mm.
had some stutter moments.
Okay.
In
So
part 3 po,
yeah,
she asked
go.
me about children versus adult with regards to the use of technologies. So I'm quite topic, so I use some high vocab words. So maybe that's main reason why I had the band set.
Mm.
Because if they will only evaluate from 1 to 2, I would fail. So I think I managed to pull up in part 3.
Okay. So before we go for Q&A, tell us about your tips, do's and don'ts.
Okay, yes. Um, from, medyo sinulat ko po
No
onti
problem.
para baka makalimutan
Go.
ko kasi.
Perfect.
Yung tips ko po, ginamit ko based from the first-hand experience of those who took the exams and also websites that I encountered because I also searched prior like few days before my exam. So, and also before, during our review, someone said that I should prioritize my review, like because we are required to have a band score of 7 in speaking overall 6.5. So I prioritize mine like speaking, listening, and then reading. So lastly is the writing. Like what I said a while ago, I only reviewed like few days down the structures. I memorized some few words that I think I can use during my exam, and which I did also actually. And in the listening part, you can adjust the volume. This is for computer based only. The volume of the headphone. Sometimes it might be too loud or too soft. So it depends on you. Um, and then listen well. Yung lan po, listen well. Kasi in 1 to 10 or 1 to 20, it's not fast. But then at the end, I think you will be quite, what do you call this? Parang medyo mahilo ka kasi medyo mabilis siya. Tapos nakita yung next, you might lose one. And to I also had encountered one in suggestion from our website. You can use the button to go to other questions tab, magba-back shift tab, I think, but I did not utilize that. I used instead because I'm more comfortable with that. In reading, I forgot to mention, in listening, you should read the instructions well first. Read the instructions, especially the 2 words like that, or a number like that. In reading, read the instructions, and then the questions like quick overview or quick skimming para may idea kayo. And then, just like what I did po, read the whole passage. Some would suggest that you should just read the class or you do the quick skimming, but I think it won't work for me since to understand it, because unless there are no true, false, or yes, no, you can do it actually. But if, because question ko po meron lahat yes, no, true, false, kaya super binasa ko, then it's a good thing that I choose the computer based. I can highlight yung specific events o like what, who, how, tapos yung probable answers, nabi ko po kanina, probable answers, basing from what I did like skimming, dun ko while reading the whole passage. Yun po sa reading. Tapos, sa last part, I think medyo naguluhan ako kahit pero parang fill in the blanks, pero drag. So, ginawa ko, binasa ko ng buo, parang nag-guess ako. Kasi medyo out of maunti na yung time ko, tsaka kailangan kong i-double check yung iba. So, ginawa ko, binasa ko yung mga may fill in the blank, try akong maglagay. I think that time medyo naguluhan ako. So, ginamit pag-check ng correct grammar ba ito or hindi. So, yung resort ko po. Sa writing, yun, follow yung band 9 structure, basahin yung essays. Kasi kapag gagawa ka po, ako po kasi medyo talagang mahina po ako sa na ng ideas kasi mas focus ko talaga ang speaking. So yung ginawa ko, binasa ko yung mga band 9 essays, in-screenshot. Tapos almost every day binabasa ko na, pero hindi ako nagpa-practice magsulat, binabasa ko lang, parang ginawa ko nag-brainstorm lang ako. So, a few days prior to my exam, dun lang ako nagsulat yung i-memorize ko na structure, especially sa introduction. Tsaka sa body 1, body 2, yung paggamit ng conjunction, minemorize ko na yun, yung kung ano bang gagamitin ko on the day of my exam, para sure na ako. And I'm only aiming na yung 150 words at saka 250 words. Because someone said, pag ma-reach mo na yun, I think mastered Chris, pag ma-reach mo na yon, sure na 6 na. So, I aim for that. Medyo tumaas ng 0.5 naman. So, okay na ako doon. And then, pag if you are or have spare time, you can read articles in news. I also save some online websites phone like Square, Economies. I also listen to podcasts po. And beware of your time kasi it will take a lot of time in part 2, especially if you are not pag di kayo masyadong there with the topic. So I allotted strictly allotted units po in part 2. Last is part 1 because I did not really had time to practice in part 1. I only memorized po. I mean the structure that I have taken down. So I did like introduce what type of is that, and then that onwards na po ginawa ko na yung overall blah 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 blah, tapos nakikita ko yun na lang. As long as may 150 words ako, gumamit ako ng some high band vocals related to yun po in writing. In speaking, ito po, pag nervyos, syempre deep breathing. Yan. Yung examiner po, dapat act friendly even if they will not be able to see, because I have worn mask during my examination. So nakamas po ako, pero so parang makikita nila yung eyes mo. Then pretend like you are a fluent speaker. That's my sword. I pretended like I'm a fluent speaker. Tapos yung pag-upo mo dapat parang parang ganun. And then speak with conviction and confidence po. Speak with enthusiasm and with emotion. Like kapag related sa children, kasi may follow sa akin, hindi pa dapat, parang sabi niya, isn't it the other way? Sabi ko, kung yung parang children dapat papakinggan related sa technologies kahit sila ay bata, kasi mas mas techy sila. Mas matanda, sabi niya. So, no, of course not, because ganun na po, blah, blah, blah. Pero, yun, with emotion, kasi I quite giggled that because I find it amusing.
Hello. Yes, Normita.
You can also. Hello po.
Okay, sorry. I just want to remind we just only have 8 minutes left. Okay, so yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm done naman po. Tsaka
Okay.
last na po, last.
Okay, sure.
Yung mindset na dapat you can do.
Yeah.
Tsaka above, yun na lang po.
That's perfect. Okay, may questions sa chat box. Normita, if you can read that.
Tignan ko lang po. Wait lang po.
Okay, it's like how many
Wait lang
questions
po.
you answered in part 3?
Part 3, I think 2 lang po or 3. 2 to 3. Pangatlo
Wow.
po ata yung follow-up question. Opo. Hindi po ako talaga fluent sa English. Yun lang po talagang, yun,
Okay.
that big ginalingan ko na kahit nga, actually nag-stutter, nag-pause po ako sa part 2.
Okay, ito yung next question from Mayjoy Tabs. How many months did you prepare for your review?
Just like what I said po, medyo I have plans of taking na po before I came here like last year pa, but my consistent review started like July this year po, July. Because I already had my speaking partners and I utilized the Zoom. I think I don't know if I will be able to recommend other computer or the rated one, because I only had my computer-based exam experience. So I think it's convenient na po, especially in writing po, because you can write and be aware of your time, be aware of the words that will be written, that you will write. And also, you can just back if you want to delete or you want to remove the word. It's quite easy po. Then, how many questions you answer in?
Yeah. Okay. And then, could you please repeat your scores, because that's Vanessa's question. What's your scores for each sub-test? Very quick.
Wait lang po.
I think you got listening
Overall
8.5.
7.5. Yes, reading 8. writing 6.5, speaking 7. Overall
Uh,
7.5 po.
7.5. Sorry, I put there 7. Okay, so yeah, perfect. And then for your last remaining minutes, any ano na lang, special encouragement na lang sa lalo sa speaking, yung mahiyain sila, alam mo yon,
Uh,
to boost their
it,
confidence.
mahihain din po ako pero you have no choice po but to explore and try your best to speak because if you will not speak and practice, I think there's a lower chance for you to pass. So that's the only thing that that you can do to try and speak to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if ever na magte-thank ka sa mga speaking buddies mo, it's also
Oh my
your
God,
perfect
that's
time.
true.
You can
Yes, I'm
enumerate.
giving my kudos to Miss Charlie, Sir Jason, Master Dan, Sir Junar or Nas, Mr. Nas, Ate Rhoda, Miss Doreen, Zaya, Miss Maricar also. And to you, Sir Jeff, and other speaking bodies here
Yeah.
in
One time parang nakakita rin
Messenger.
kita sa chat group eh.
Yan.
So yeah.
Into
So
Messenger.
congratulations Normita. So at least you're
Opo.
parang graduate. Anong pakiramdam
Thank you
na
po.
nakagraduate ka? Diba last
Masaya po. Hindi ko po kasi in-expect.
ang taas ng score mo pang UK. Mm. So ayun sa kanila 'di ba? So guys, dreaming mo ba to or imagine mo na mag-success
Actually,
story ka?
yes, of course. And also, I aim for a higher score po. Para mas, ano naman,
Oo.
yan, nag-dream na
Taasan
ako, mas
talaga.
mataas na ng onti.
Para kung hindi ma-reach,
Mm.
nandoon ka pa rin sa pasok na na
Medyo mag-fall ng
level.
konti,
Yeah.
ganun.
Ang galing.
Yes.
So si Normita, as you can see, parang mahiyain talaga siya. Pero na-overcome niya. Congratulations, Normita. So guys,
Thank you
do you have
po.
question?
Thank you.
Hmm, wala na ata silang question.
Wala na.
That's all. Ito, sayang yung time eh. Yung last night before ng exam mo, anong ginawa mo?
Ay, nag-review po ako.
Nag-review ka pa din.
Ano, opo, kasi yung writing nga po, wala akong hindi ako masyadong kaya minemorize ko yung structure, kung ano bang gagawin ko. Tsaka yung sa part 1 talaga, hindi ako masyadong dun. So, yung review ko talaga bar graph, kaya lang hindi lumabas. Pero, nag-base na lang ako doon, parang ganun din naman po. Tapos yung speaking, I think kinausap ko pa po sina Sir Nas, saka Miss Doreen, yun, before that. Tapos nag-pray over po si Miss Doreen before my exam. Pero
Wow.
hindi po nila alam kasi they don't know. I
Yeah,
did not
secret.
tell because I'm too
Yes.
pressured.
Yeah. Secret lang.
Yeah.
So, may question si Jim Boy. How to get a good sleep before the night of your exam?
Ano, I slept around, I think, 10 p.m. So my examination is 9:30. I was there 9 p.m. Just pray.
Okay.
Yeah, because at the end, you don't know the questions of the examiners, so you
Okay.
just have to pray.
Okay. I think we're almost less than a minute. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you po. Thank you
Congratulations,
so much.
Normita.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Stay safe, everyone. Good night. See
Bye.
you
Good night
next
po.
session of Success Stories. Bye.